All right. We are back and we had a very electric trade that we can recap today with XLV. Remember, this was the healthcare sector, and this was a very simple trade idea to buy the dip near the risk level right around 134. Now, this isn't always the case where we immediately bounce off of the risk level. As you can tell from the trade idea, this is a 2.17 risk reward ratio. So there's plenty of room within this risk zone that we can either be within the trade or buy even more. But with this trade, we had an extremely electric bounce right off of 134 straight through the price target, which was between 143 and 145. And you can see we hit all of those price targets as early as October 1st and then through the top of the range on Friday, October 3rd. So a very, very successful trade. Again, this is a trade that you should be locking profits in if you're following my idea. That doesn't mean you have to sell all of it, but the majority of the trade has already been realized, so you need to lock your profit. And this is just a very textbook example of why you set up the proper risk reward ratios, because if you always take trades like this, you're not going to win every single one of them, but you are going to win a lot of them. And if you have more reward than you have risk, you will remain a profitable trader. So let's build each other up. Let's spread encouragement. This is a very successful trade that lots of you were in on, and that is something to be celebrated. And today's word of encouragement, we're going to look at Ephesians chapter 4, starting with verse 17. With the Lord's authority, I say this, live no longer as the Gentiles do, for they are hopelessly confused. Their minds are full of darkness. They wander far from the life God gives because they have closed their minds and hardened their hearts against him. They have no sense of shame. They live for lustful pleasure and eagerly practice every kind of impurity. But that isn't what you learned about Christ. Since you have heard about Jesus and have learned the truth that comes from him, throw off your old sinful nature and your former way of life, which is corrupted by lust and deception. Instead, let the Spirit renew your thoughts and attitudes. Put on your new nature, created to be like God, truly righteous and holy. So stop telling lies. Let us tell our neighbors the truth, for we are all parts of the same body. And don't sin by letting anger control you. Don't let the sun go down while you are still angry, for anger gives a foothold to the devil. If you are a thief, quit stealing. Instead, use your hands for good hard work and then give generously to others in need. Don't use foul or abusive language. Let everything you say be good and helpful so that your words will be an encouragement to those who hear them. And do not bring sorrow to God's Holy Spirit by the way you live. Remember, he has identified you as his own, guaranteeing that you will be saved on the day of redemption. Get rid of all bitterness, rage, anger, harsh words, and slander, as well as all types of evil behavior. Instead, be kind to each other, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, just as God through Christ has forgiven you. So this scripture is just a reminder to build each other up. Your words matter, and you want to use your words to encourage others and build them up and spread the light and not the darkness. And just think about how much better the world would be if we were all more Christ-like and spread this love and positivity, and instead of trying to be angry against each other and plotting against each other with evil. So remember to love each other and spread positivity and unite together and walk in the light. All right, today I want to look at SPY first, and SPY is just a textbook bull trend. As you can see here, we're just continuing to make higher lows and higher highs, and we had the new all-time high breakout last week right there on Wednesday when we broke the previous high, and we also got out above the price target at 668, and above 668 we're going to slowly climb higher towards 678. And just one thing I want you to note is that from today's close to 678 is not even 1% higher. So while it may seem like that's a lot higher, that could just be one day away with one simple move to the upside. So don't think we can't go higher, because as long as price is going higher, that is still the path of least resistance. And the best thing I could warn you about now is do not be afraid of the bull trend and do not be afraid to trade the bull trend. Just simply be prepared for the time that we start breaking support, because as I said with the elevator down last week, we don't know if support's going to break until we witness it through price, but we can immediately react when the time comes, because price is an instant reaction that we can observe on the chart. It's not some lagging indicator. I know a lot of people like to use technical analysis as some fancy reason to use 1,000 technical indicators, but you really just need a chart with price on it. And as long as you're following price, you're going to do very well, because the price on this chart continues to tell us this is a bull trend, and that alone will stop you from trying to fight it and even trying to call a top or shorting it. You don't need to short a bull market. All you need to do is be prepared for the time that it rolls over and breaks through support, and that alone will save you a lot of harm to the downside if and when that time comes. So on SPY, you can watch this level at the previous breakout right around 667, or you can make any of these support levels your risk level. And if price starts breaking down through these levels, then you know from price to start getting a lot more risk off and look for more downside. However, until that happens, don't be surprised if we just continue to bounce off support and move higher towards the next price target, which is up there at 678. So just watch price here. Always have a trade plan prepared for any scenario. Right now, the most likely scenario is still that we're going to continue to climb higher within this bull market. And the only way we're going to change that idea is if price tells us to, which is going to require price to start breaking down through support. So until that time comes, continue to look for opportunities to buy the dip. And it is getting more and more difficult to find low risk trade setups. So I'll talk about one more that I have for you tonight. But on the S&P 500, it's really just as simple as watching these support zones, which are the previous highs at 667, 664, and 661. If we can't hold all of that support, then that's obviously looking a lot more risk off, and then you can adjust immediately. On the NASDAQ 100 triple Qs, we were up 0.75% today, and we hit into the price target, which was that range I gave you last week between 606 and just below 610. So we are already in that price target zone right now, as you can see from price, which means that this could be the exact area that we start to get a pullback. But again, we won't know until we see it through price, which is going to require us to break down through support. And the first line of support for the triple Qs is right there at 602. If we can't hold 602, that is an immediate sign from price to start getting a lot more risk off and look for lower prices, because below 602 we could come all the way back down towards the next support right around 585 to 588. So it's as simple as following price here. If we break through this price target zone at 609 to 610, then we're looking for the next price target higher right around 615 to 616. Again, this is just a textbook bull trend, so it's a bull trend until it's not. As you can tell here from price, these are all higher lows and higher highs, and that is exactly what you are seeing in a bull trend where price action is telling you we are going higher. There's nothing magical here. All we are doing is reading the chart, and the chart is still telling us we're in a bull trend until we lose support from price. All right, next up we need to look at Bitcoin, because Bitcoin did two things bullish. One, we broke the high at 117,000, which was the higher high bull trend breakout, which I told you if we did that, we would likely go to 126. And as you can tell from today's price action, we did hit 126,000, so that price target's already met. And if we break that, we go higher towards 134,000. Now, I'm not saying we need to go higher to 134,000. I think 126,000 is a very critical resistance zone. And this is also a brand new all-time high, because the previous all-time high close was right around 123,000. So if this is a bull trap, you are going to see it immediately with a flush right back down through 123,000. So if you are trading Bitcoin, 123,000 is now one of your most important support zones. Or if you want way more risk and room to manage that trade, you're going to use 117,000. If we break through 126,000, I do think we will go higher towards 134,000. So you could trade that breakout. One more reminder with Bitcoin is that this is showing risk on sentiment. So you will likely see risk on sentiment throughout the rest of the stock market if Bitcoin does indeed continue to climb higher. All right, and then I want to leave you with the other trade idea I had that was alongside XLV in the healthcare sector, and this has not hit the price target yet. So if you missed XLV, it's not too late to catch this trade idea, which has over a 2.2 risk reward ratio. And this is simply just trading Berkshire Hathaway, which is the ticker symbol BRK.B, off of this double bottom bounce, neckline breakout, and retest, which is the risk level right here at 497. And from 497, I think we can go as high as 535. So this is a very favorable risk reward ratio. In the next resistance we need to break to really start getting things moving to the upside is simply just breaking out above 507. Above 507, I think we moved very quickly to 535, and you saw with the healthcare sector how quickly things can move. Sometimes when you get a bull breakout, it only takes another day or two to go much, much higher. So that will be the next bullish catalyst, will be the price action break above 507 on Berkshire Hathaway. Now, if things turn south and we start to break through support at 489 to 488, that is your sign that this trade is likely not going to work, and that means we could push as low as 479 to 481. So it's up to you if you want to buy that dip or not. If we turn around and start breaking support, just be prepared for that. Always have a risk mitigation plan. And again, that could be as simple as just trading this risk reward ratio and remembering not all trades are going to win. So if this just happens to be one of the trades that doesn't win, that's completely fine. On to the next one. No harm, no foul. We just continue to trade and we follow that discipline and that approach of managing risk along the way. So again, I think this trade looks very solid. That doesn't guarantee it's going to win, obviously, but it does look like the proper risk reward setup with the proper chart of higher lows and higher highs on that breakout above 507. So that's the next trade idea I think you should be paying attention to. Again, I'm telling you straight up, it is not that simple to find solid trade setups right now. Lots of things are overstretched and at very high prices, which makes it very hard to get a good risk reward ratio unless you have very tight risk management and or you're day trading. But as a swing trader, this is one of my favorite setups right now. And then just a quick update on our performance. We are now up over 27% year to date. Again, any of you can have this exact same performance because this is my trade alert service where you get the exact buy and sell alerts that I'm sending out for the TQQQ and the SQQQ. And all you have to do is react to those alerts and you will have this same year to date performance. And if you want to trade alongside me, that is the best way to do it because all you need to do is simply follow the alerts, which is TSC Trade Alerts. And if you're interested in that, you can find out how to join by clicking on the link in the description of this video. So thank you for watching, everybody. Walk in the light and build each other up with encouragement. And as always, God bless all of you.